Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Right now we have a clashing of basically views, right?
Yes.
So people saying COVID exists,
Yes.
and you guys saying that it's not an issue, right? So
Okay.
for you, if to them inside there, it's a real concern for them, right? So
Okay.
now you're in their mind, you're putting them at risk.
I understand.
So, right? So just as you don't want to be put at risk for putting on a mask, it's not fair to put that risk in their mind on them, right?
Okay.
So is that fair? So
It is.
I understand that it's frustrating to be refused service, and if all the research that you did states otherwise, but right now we've never faced these circumstances before, right? We're all in a new world right now.
BC's Public Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry's new mask mandate has left many confused, and more business owners may soon find themselves on the receiving end of a human rights complaint because of it. Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, and after months of British Columbians being free to choose whether or not they need to cover their air pathways with pretty much whatever material they see fit, BC's Public Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry announced a new mandate.
Based on continued requests, particularly from the retail and other public sectors, to have more explicit direction for the use of masks in indoor, public, and retail spaces, I've asked the Minister of Public Safety and the Solicitor General to issue a requirement for the wearing of masks for all indoor public and retail spaces for staff and customers, except where eating or drinking.
Now, am I the only one who finds it concerning that BC's top doctor admitted that the mandate was based on pushes from retail stores and other public sectors, not some sort of groundbreaking peer-reviewed study that showed that healthy and asymptomatic people should in fact be forced to wear masks in public? But nevertheless, I digress. Now, just days after that mask mandate became mandatory in BC, a human rights discrimination claim has been filed against a coffee shop located in New Westminster. Now, in my last report at rebelnews.com, you know I was in New Westminster to interview Mac Pahar, a BC man who was recently jailed and is now battling in court after being charged with breaking the Quarantine Act. Now, what you didn't see in that report is that shortly after, an incident occurred across the street at a cafe called the Hideout Cafe. It involved a couple of Mac's supporters. They were refused service at the coffee shop for not having a mask. Now, Ryan Kabalba, who you may recognize as one of the organizers from some of the peaceful freedom rallies we've covered in Vancouver, and Chrissy Lefebvre claimed to have explained to the cafe workers that they were exempt from wearing masks, but were still refused service, followed by the police being called. Both Kabalba and Lefebvre informed me a couple days after the incident that they have in fact filed a human rights complaint for what they believe is discrimination. And we will update you on that, of course, to figure out what happens there. But for now, take a look at the confusion, frustration, and even the difficult spot that the friendly police officers were in when it comes to everyone trying to understand how to balance the law and human rights with these mask mandates in place.
So it looks like they freed them now. What just happened?
Earlier today, I came to get coffee for Ryan and I walked in, they said, "You can't be in here without a mask." I said, "Yes, I can." And they went, "Nope, mandatory, mandatory, mandatory." I said, "It's not a law." And they just were, the guy, he was very, very rude and like in my face. So I did leave, which I usually don't really leave, but I did leave, went back, grabbed Ryan, grabbed everybody, and we came back here to let them know about the human rights code, and it was pretty brutal in there.
So Christy came in here not too long ago and got denied service. She was trying to order coffee, got denied service. So, okay, we found out about that. Okay, so we came back here. They have a policy, 3 people at one time. Okay, fine, that's fine. We adhered to that. Okay, there was about 6 of us. We adhered to that. We had 3 people. Okay, so what one of those persons actually tried to tell us was that it is actually, we are doing stuff against the law. They said again, we are trespassing. We will kick you out. We will call the cops. I said, no, you cannot do that. Actually, we're not trespassing. We are a paying customer to your public service. Therefore, trespassing is null and void. And then I started laying out the Human Rights Code. I said, you cannot discriminate against us for a medical disability. You can't kick out gay people. You can't kick out Christians. You can't kick out religious people. You can't do it for those. And again, they asked for our proof. I said, we do under the Human Rights Code. We are not obligated to provide you with anything about our medical note, anything about our medical history, nothing. They didn't care. They kept refusing us service. They would not serve us, period, at all. And they kept saying it was illegal on our end. I said, no, you cannot discriminate. You cannot kick us out. You cannot refuse a service under the BC Human Rights Code. And if you do that, it is actually illegal, because it is illegal to go against the BC Human Rights Code, which is what they were doing. And they just refused us service straight up. They just wouldn't even talk to us anymore. They said they'd call the cops. I said, okay, we're not breaking any law. Go for it. I'll call them. They are relying on not only store managers, security guards, and maybe even possibly police that don't know the BC Human Rights Code. A lot of store managers don't actually know that there is an actual BC Human Rights Code. But this place just violated our human rights. They refused us service based on medical disability.
Hi, I'm just wondering if you wanted to give your side of the story for what happened today? No? Okay. Anybody in there that you might want to ask to see if they would like to? Okay, thank you.
Right now we have a clashing of basically views, right?
Yes.
So people saying COVID exists,
Yes.
and you guys saying that it's not an issue, right? So
Okay.
for you, if to them inside there, it's a real concern for them, right? So
Okay.
now you're in their mind, you're putting them at risk.
I understand.
So, right? So just as you don't want to be put at risk for putting on a mask, it's not fair to put that risk in their mind on them, right?
Okay.
So is that fair? So
It
I,
is.
I understand that it's frustrating to be refused service, and if all the research that you did states otherwise, but right now we've never faced these circumstances before, right? We're all in a new world right now.
But you need to go after the criminals.
But it's against the law.
Bonnie Henry, Adrian Dix, John Horgan.
Take some,
They're lying.
basic,
They're misleading
business,
people. Cases are not illnesses or infections.
So what happened was they are refusing us service because we didn't wear a mask. Okay, so we're medically exempt. Okay, now they're trying to kick us out. No, they can't, because under the BC Human Rights Code, it is illegal to actually discriminate against any aspect of the BC Human Rights Code. If you are refused service because of a discriminatory issue, they must accommodate you unto undue hardship. They did not do that. They went right to, okay, we're not serving you. It is against the BC Human Rights Code, which is actually illegal, to refuse someone service or kick someone out under the BC Human Rights Code, which is what they did. So they did not accommodate us till undue hardship. They didn't offer us wear a face shield. They didn't offer us service outside or anything. You cannot kick someone out under the BC Human Rights Code for discriminating against someone for medical reasons, just like you can't kick someone out for being gay, for being a Christian, Muslim, homosexual, and you are under no legal obligation to provide proof of your medical exemption to anybody. The BC Human Rights Code says this. I'm hoping you guys know about the BC Human Rights Code. I don't know.
But
Okay.
may I point out one difference between your comparisons? So being gay, being in a wheelchair, being transgender does not affect the people in there.
But
Whereas
what's the difference?
the
What is
difference
the difference
now
between my
is
medical
that
exemption?
No, the difference is that you potentially could be carrying a virus that they have concern about, right? For you, you have a concern that having a mask is gonna affect you, right? So I respect that, but you have to respect their concern as well.
We can
so
respect the concern,
it's not a
but they
human.
can't
It's
actually
not a
kick us
human
out.
right. They can because for them it's not human rights. Because you having the virus,
Yes, it is.
it's
don't
not.
have one. What's the proof
You
that we
don't.
have one,
You
first of
don't
all?
know that. You don't know that.
Symptomatic
So-
spread
We
is
can't
rare.
assume that we do that. Yeah. We don't have proof.
They,
discriminatory.
but this
They
is the
can't
whole
assume that
point.
someone's gay.
The whole point is to prevent the spread.
I understand
Right?
that's the point. I can
Okay.
understand that. However,
Is it fair to put them, like, you guys are feeling obviously very fearful that putting a mask on is a serious medical concern for you. Whether you've been, whether, okay, but if you've gone to your doctor and can produce a piece of paper that says, okay,
Under the
okay.
Human Rights Code, we are under no obligation to provide such information. None.
I have a comment to make, if I can make.
Absolutely.
Why does transit offer medical or personal exemptions?
Like this.
Yeah, they're offering in their offices, so they're obviously considerate of the public to present that, right?
I wish I could read on.
And so why is that happening? And there are other establishments that are acknowledging medical exemptions. So, well, I mean, they're a big organization. They should know what they're doing, right? So you're saying that that's not acceptable either. Is that what you're saying?
So, no, all I'm saying is that right now what you guys are debating with them inside is going to be more of a civil suit, right? So all we're here to do is work under our authority, which is to make sure that people can enjoy the lawful enjoyment of a space and a place. So by completely blocking a sidewalk, it's obstructing people from walking by. So all I'm asking is that if you guys can just maintain, like, please carry on with your demonstration. That's totally fine. Like I said, I respect it. But just make sure that you're not actually now infringing on to what falls under our authority, right?
I agree.
So that would be keeping the peace. So right now, you're creating like a civil dispute with them, right? Over the mask wearing and them not providing you service. That's a civil thing, right? So all we can do is just make sure, all we can do is make sure that you guys are gonna continue to let other patrons that are gonna accommodate how they're feeling and what they perceive to be their safety, right? Okay. Other than that, like, please carry on. Keep the sidewalks
Nothing
free.
anybody here can do. We didn't break any laws. No mandates. No laws were broken. However, they did violate our rights under our medical
So
issues.
then I would get a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay.
We have one.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Everybody is being blackmailed. Like everybody is being blackmailed, like being cornered. If the businesses they won't comply to the health officials, then they will be fined. You see how it's like the domino effect. It's just like cornering everyone, basically, even you guys, even police.
So actually, I have one question then. So because it actually is illegal to discriminate against someone and kick someone out under the BC Human Rights Code, cannot be violated, right? You can't. So what can you guys do? Yeah. So what? You're quite right. Yeah. So what can you guys do then if it is illegal to discriminate against the BC Human Rights Code, which they just did? What can you do towards them now?
well,
that's a civil matter.
Yeah.
So being a civil matter, sir, it's up to you to launch a civil action.
Okay.
So you can gather witnesses, gather statements, go to the human rights people, make a complaint. If they deem your complaint admissible, they'll proceed with it, right? And then you'll have some recourse that way. I'm not sure that the mask is going to be, if you have a legitimate position ordered, you don't have to wear a mask because of these conditions, I would think you might get some traction, but I really don't have any idea. Okay, at the end of the day, it is up to the Human Rights Tribunal to sort that out. Right? It's not a police matter. It's not a criminal matter. You're not criminals.
Okay, great.
So just a moment. Let me finish answering this gentleman's question. Okay? And so at the end of the day, sir, that's what you can do. Those are your recourses. We're, like this officer said, we're only here to make sure that everybody's safe. Nobody's breaking any laws.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, I mean, we all want to be respectful for everybody. So we respect the fact that you don't choose not to wear masks. Okay, it's mandated, but it's not a law yet. If it became a law, it would be a different story.
Different,
okay?
Then it's law,
But COVID is a real thing. Whether you agree or disagree, there's something going on out there. We have different perspectives on the severity of it and everything like that.
Neither here nor there. It's just more about the human rights aspect and law and stuff. That's what I'm mainly tackling here. I'm not here to debate semantics about COVID or whatever. It's
at the end of the day, you don't have to wear a mask at this point in time outdoors here. We are gathered far too close together for what the requirements are, right?
But they're just suggestions.
They're suggestions, but they are looking towards enforcement at some point down the road if things continue to increase. I don't know that it's going to get to that point. That's not up to me, right?
Yeah, no.
At the end of the day, we just ask that everybody's respectful, everybody gives everybody the distance that they deserve, right? To make everybody feel comfortable. You guys want to be here and feel comfortable? You want to be able to voice your concerns? We respect that. We just ask that you in turn respect the counterpoint of view.
So you're saying go forward with a case, a civil...
Yeah, you can go speak to a lawyer,
yeah.
Find out what grounds there are for a civil case.
Okay.
If your ground, and then even if you have grounds, your lawyer hopefully will give you good advice and tell you what the reasonable likelihood of success in court is, so they don't just take your money for no good reason, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you can make an informed decision insofar as where you want to go with it.
So why then they
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
If you appreciate us giving you the other side of the story when it comes to everything to do with this pandemic and more, please head to helprebelnews.com. That's where you can donate any amount to help support the work that we do so we can keep on doing it.